me?
We got headphones. We're all fancy. This is great.
Are all fancy. Welcome to
Yeah.
my kitchen
Welcome to my bedroom.
where the magic happens.
Yes. I can't believe this is our first official wycwyc podcast.
I
Very
am
exciting.
I'm so excited, and we need to break it on down. Wycwyc is
What you can when you can.
and when you can, and I'm going to kind of let you introduce the idea since it was completely your idea, and I grabbed onto your coattails. So, what is it? How did you come up with it? What does it mean to you? All
Um,
that.
well, I can't really claim it's completely my idea. I mean, there's tons of quotes out there that are fairly similar, but I had this, um, I don't know, revelation last year. I think it was last year. Now it might be 2 years ago. I can't remember because time flies so fast. But yeah, I had this. It was not last year, the year before. This kind of epiphany of, oh my gosh, what I've been doing for the last 10 years basically is what I can when I can. And the funny thing is I look back at my blog posts and, you and I have both been blogging for like 10 plus years because we're old ladies. And I look back at old blog posts and I'm like, there it is right there. I went running when I could. And I like literally had a blog post from like 2008 or 2009. And it was like, I'm training for this event, but I can't run the full 5 miles. So I'm going to only do 2. And I did things like that over and over again. Or it was, I really, really want fried mozzarella sticks because I'm obsessed with cheese. So I'm only going to get a salad for dinner. That's what I'm going to do. And so I've been blogging about things like that and making those kind of small decisions all the time. And then it just hit me one day. I'm like, I'm doing what I can when I can, and I do it in every aspect of my life. This podcast is an example.
Well, and I think you nailed it right there. It's the small decisions that have led to your huge success, whether it's weight loss maintaining, whether it's figuring out
Yeah.
Google Hangouts so we could get the podcast going. And I love how we've started joking now that it's not really the aha moment, it's the wycwyc moment. Like, oh, I see, I've been doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, well, that last, whatever, 18 months ago when I finally said, okay, I figured out this little package I can put it in. And I was really kind of hooked on starting a thing. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you as a blogger probably understand, like, I like inspiring people and figuring out ways to I don't know, spread a message that makes sense to people that people can relate to and latch on and find each other.
Because
and
it keeps us inspired or keeps me inspired.
Oh, yeah. No, it totally keeps me going.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's when I thought, okay, what you can, when you can, it's Q, it's WYC, and I started calling it wycwyc kind of to myself, and then I started saying it to myself, and I was like, okay, I did this whole blog post, I can link to it somewhere, I'm sure, where I kind of issued a wycwyc challenge, and I told everyone, hey, you should tag, join my challenge, and you could tag Twitter and Facebook with wycwyc, that way other people will know that you're kind of doing the wycwyc challenge too. And then really that's where the idea came, started and kind of snowballed. And then
and I remember that. I think you were on maybe a trip or something. I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Thinking the same thing. Like, oh yeah, that's my life. Like,
yeah.
We're all so busy and choosing what our priorities are, and it's fitting everything in. And I remember seeing that and thinking, oh my gosh, that's exactly it. From food to fitness to movement to everything.
Yeah. You always use it in examples for writing, and I think, and that's how I feel about my people. Like, how do you do a blog for 10 years? And I'm like, well, because sometimes I blog at 5 in the morning, and sometimes I blog at 10 at night, and sometimes I do it when I can, whenever it fits and makes sense, or.
And sometimes you don't. I think that's the gift of it for me too, is the reminder of, and I almost fell over the other day when my husband was driving the car and he said something that he was going to have to miss, and he's like, wycwyc. And I thought,
I know.
It's the,
my husband
you
used
do
it a
your
few
best.
weeks ago, and it freaked me out. Yeah.
It's like, it's for everything in the sense of, you do the best that you can, and some days that does not mean that I'm going to blog, and I go to bed and I get up the next day and I try again.
I'm coming. I think that's the one area that I still am. I'm coming to terms with. I'm embracing that part right now. I'm very much I need to accomplish. I need to do. And so the wycwyc really helps me do that, because I was like, well, and I look back at my day and I feel like I didn't accomplish anything, and I'm like, wait a minute. I wrote this article for this client, and I responded to all these things in my emails, and I made the kids breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we watched a movie, and we played a board game, and we, whatever. And I was like, no, I did a lot today. I need to calm down.
And the opposite is that, which is why we're so perfect together,
Yeah.
is it's not that I'm lazy, but I'm definitely, there's the golden doodle. I'm definitely I can be really kind to myself, and wycwyc still reminds me, and this actually goes perfectly into our next segment, that there are no excuses. I'm trying my best every single day, but I don't see that as an excuse not to try my best. It's almost a reminder of all the time I have when I choose to see the gaps I have in my day and where I can fill in with stuff. It's been a good nudge for me.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I think that was the one thing I didn't anticipate. To me, it meant one thing. Wycwyc meant, and I think this was the one where I really started to get the idea. And it was there was a snow day. There was a snow day, and I couldn't make it to the gym for whatever reason, and I was mad because I really wanted to go to the gym, and I thought, I can't go any other time because my husband does XYZ and the kids are here and then, and I went, no, wait, I think I can make this work. And I said to my husband, I'm like, well, if you pick the kids up instead of me and I go here and there instead of, I shuffled my whole day so I can make it happen. Because it was really important for me I really wanted to go to the gym. And to me, so wycwyc always meant kind of that side of the coin
Yes,
you really
making it happen.
You want to make it happen. You have to do what you can when you can. And just because, there was some roadblock, or it snowed, or, whatever, the kids are home, doesn't mean I just give up on what my goal was. And my goal was to get to the gym that day. And so I did what I could when I could to make it happen. But then you're right. The other flip side of that is if I couldn't make it happen, that's okay too. Like, I tried my best and it's okay. So it kind of, it allows people to kind of, I don't know, have those two buckets where they can use it in those times where, like, no, I'm going to make this happen, but they can also use it as a way to kind of give themselves permission.
No guilt.
No guilt. It didn't happen. I tried my best.
And I think that's what I loved about it immediately before you and I talked about it when I saw it on Twitter, is I thought this meets people where they already are. It's not saying you need to be here before you can begin. It's you're already there. Wherever you are, start.
Yeah, and you know what? That's one of the biggest. I actually just got a question the other day in email, and it was, I lost 30 pounds, but I gained it back, and now I feel defeated. And, I mean, very, very typical scenario that this woman's in. And I haven't responded to her yet, but her question was, well, where do I start? And that question is so easy and hard to answer at the same time.
Because the answer is today, right where you are.
Right now, change your mindset. But then it's also hard because I understand that almost like primal feeling of you need something to kick it off. You need a Monday. You need a January 1.
Or even just a morning.
Yeah.
It can't be mid-afternoon.
Exactly. Or you need a new plan. You need a new book to tell you what to do. Or you need a new blog to find that you can relate to. Or you need a new message board where you feel welcome. Or, it could be anything, but we almost feel like we need something to start. And wycwyc is kind of the response to that. No. Do what you can right now. Make a decision right now. Yeah. We should talk about how the book almost came. I forgot about that. How, like, we went from this idea of a challenge online to now we have the book coming out. Our official launch date is what, May 5th?
I want to say May 5th.
May 5th, yeah. May 5th the book is coming out.
And that's much more which is why we did the podcast. I love how that's the information, the meat and potatoes of what to do, how to do it, those kind of tips, but no behind-the-scenes stories. It's none of our personal stories. It's really about the
mindset
community. Yes, the mindset.
Yeah. And kind of how to take advantage of it, I think. It's funny because I forget that we wrote it. Sometimes I have, because it's this whole book publishing process is so interesting to me. But yeah, it's really let's get in people's heads. And I would explain it to my friends who are like, oh, you wrote a book, what it's about. And I'm always like, well, it's about trying to get people to realize that they don't have to be perfect to make progress, and that they can reach their weight loss goals or their fitness goals or whatever goals they have, by doing what they can when they can. And everyone goes, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I was like,
See, and I always say that, and then I have to throw in, and we're leveraging the power of a hashtag. It's the whole, because
oh
it's
yeah,
that I'm not doing this alone, because for me, I love to
yeah,
read, but I'm kind of an introvert at night, and so my reading is just the solitary shutting down. So I think I always feel like I want to say, but it's not really a book because it's a whole
yeah,
community with
it's
the
true.
call to actions on social media and
Nothing
all
makes
that
me
kind of stuff.
happier than to like look at the wycwyc homepage and see all of like Instagrams and the Twitter, and like, hey, I went running today, and oh, I couldn't go to the gym, so I took a walk with my kids, and like nothing makes me happier. It just makes me smile. And I think that's that's, yeah, you're right. That's the big key, where it's like letting people know they're not alone, feeling inspired by other people's success, which I think is something that sometimes we're missing in our culture. Like, I want to celebrate everybody who's doing cool stuff. And even though we might be at all different stages, all different amounts of weight to lose, and, on a gamut of who likes vegetables and who doesn't, or like whatever, like we're all in these, our own personal journeys. But seeing someone like celebrate something that for them was hard or difficult, or they started to learn how to run, or they tried a new food that they didn't think they was going to like. To me, that's really inspiring, just to see.
And others jumping in and congratulating when they
Yeah,
might not even be there yet. It's that whole notion that we
yeah,
see so often of,
so
I'm
cool.
going to blow out your candle because I think it'll make mine brighter. And it's just people celebrating each other, which I love. And
Yes.
speaking of celebrating, I know you had a blog post, and
Oh yes.
this was today, and I've seen the woman, and I know kind of what I think. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a different hot mom that is out there now with the no excuses, her 2 kids, the six
Yeah,
pack
somebody
abs.
posted it on my they didn't post it to me, but I saw it on Facebook, and it was another really attractive, thin, fit trainer posing with her kids and asking their readers or their fan base what their excuse is. And I find this whole conversation really, really fascinating, because a few months ago there was another mom who did it, and her story, her whole website blew up, and it got so much press, and it was on Facebook everywhere. I mean, no, I don't think anyone not knows the story at this point. Um, and I kind of went, I never usually hop on those things, because I'm kind of like, whatever. It's like the flavor of the week. That's what everyone wants to talk about. It's
Yes.
kind of,
And they're
it's like
trying
when,
to stir the pot.
yeah, it's, or like when Biggest Loser finale comes, that's what everyone's talking about. Or, it's just like our, that's the hot topics. And so I kind of usually stay away from them. But when I saw that another mom was doing it, I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand why. And I know other people do find this motivating, so I'm even more fascinated by it.
I know for me, it's
Yeah.
the semantics. I find
Yeah, maybe we just
that,
interpret it though. I feel like they're like scolding me. Like,
what's your excuse?
I
If it
look
was,
this way. Why
or even
don't you?
just the picture. For me, it goes back to the Fitspiration,
Yeah.
the Fitspo, and why it doesn't motivate me is so often, besides the fact it can be photoshopped, it's the words. Just the image of her and her daughter, I might look at it and think, that's pretty impressive. I might not be willing to do
Yeah.
the work it takes to get there, but good for you. But it's the words. If the words even said, 2 kids, full-time mom, blah, blah, blah,
You know what?
like just this is who I am. But why are you challenging? It's what you said in your post about comparing. Why do we need to, with wycwyc, I'm enough where I am, you're enough where you are. It feels like she's almost trying to put others
Yeah.
down who are looking at the picture.
Someone made that comment, and I totally agree with them. There's an inferred comparison. So yeah, and it's funny because I could see both sides. I love playing my own devil's advocate. Like, I could see how it's motivating for some people, and I feel like there is a large percentage of people who are really motivated to get healthier and lose weight for
By the
semantics.
words, okay, well, do you think that, because people have said to me that motivates them, I don't know if it's the words or is it just looking at her? Are they just not even paying attention to the
They
words
don't even
and
care
thinking,
about the
I want
words.
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And see, what I see though is a woman, and I feel like we wouldn't accept that in any other aspect. Like, and we talked about this earlier, right? Like, I bought my house at a really young age. What's your excuse? Or like,
Can you imagine?
can you imagine if people walked
Yeah.
around all the time saying, I have my PhD, what's your excuse? Or I have a large bank account. What's your excuse? Or I have a great job, or I have a Lamborghini. What's your excuse? Like nobody, we don't do it for any other aspect of our lives. But for some reason, we as women are okay with putting like, and again, I mean, it is all inferred. So I am inferring this, and I understand that. Like, but when someone, if you're going to show me a picture of a really attractive woman and say, "What's your excuse?" Well, then you're inferring that I need to compare myself to her, and that I'm not, I don't know, I don't have the gumption to do what it takes to
And
look like
sometimes
that.
we don't. Like I have pointed women out to my husband. There's a blogger who I won't name who looks amazing, amazing. And I always show her picture to my husband and I say, I will not look like that at that age because I am unwilling to do the work.
Right.
And so
Well,
it is that. It's what's
and
your
that's
excuse?
one
Yeah.
aspect. But I think there's another aspect is sometimes we all can't look that way. Like
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm
No,
never going to
great
look
point.
the way, I'm never going
Yes,
to look as good as she looks in a bikini. It's not going to happen. I just
yes.
can't. I can't. And I won't even say she had kids too. So you can't even say, oh, I had the two kids. It's not that I'm using it as an
Yes.
excuse.
Yep.
I work out 6 days a week. I love working out. I lift weights. I eat healthy. I'm very well rounded. I feel really healthy. I don't, so it's almost like I
What's
feel
your
like
excuse?
I don't
I'm
need
not you.
I don't need an excuse. I'm totally happy.
Yes. And I think that's it. And you nailed it to an extent with the big thing for me. It's a woman to woman thing. It's like, why are
Yeah.
we just gonna, why does it have to be? I would find it less annoying from a man. I would roll my eyes. But
Yeah.
from another woman, I'm like, come on, sister, aren't we supposed to lift each other up,
Yeah.
celebrate each other? You can she could be celebrating herself. I've had a child, I work full time, look what I got. I might be like, but it's the feeling they need to put other people down.
Yeah. And that's what I know. And maybe they, and I feel like they don't think they're doing that. And so, and that's like, I get it. And I get that there's a large portion of people, like, it's funny to read the Facebook comments on these photos because it really flip flops back and forth. And that's almost what I find fascinating because I really do think there's one bucket of people who are really motivated by that. They're not insulted. They don't take it personally. They just go, yeah, damn right. I have a job and kids and I could do that too. And I'm going to do it. And they're motivated by that. And there's another bucket of people that are like, who does she think she is? I don't want to look like her. You know, there's like these two buckets of people. And I just find it really fascinating that they, you know, and I tend to lean towards the one bucket only because I'm too nice. Like I would never say to somebody like, "What's your excuse?" in any
Me
aspect at
either in
all.
any.
It's just not how I'm
See, I'm in
wired.
that third bucket where all I can think about, if I'm remembering this correctly, that there was a girl next to her, like the daughter, if I'm remembering
I
the
don't
picture correctly.
remember.
I
I
saw
don't. That's
one
the
where
one
there was, and all I could think of was, it's about so much more than the vessel, and what are we teaching our girls? So it's funny that mother to a daughter, I got stuck there with one of these images of,
Yeah.
that's not what I would want. I want to lead by example, and it's what you said. I work out, I'm healthy, I'm fit, I don't look like you, and I'm amazing. And it's that,
Yeah.
what is she showing her daughter? So I got distracted by that
It's
whole.
funny, and I think someone said to me the other day that they wish I had girls, so I would be a good example to a young girl. And I find that I never thought about that because I have two boys, and so
But I think it's such a great example to them of what a woman is.
and I think the opposite. That's what I mean. I think the opposite. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I really want to show my boys. And so when we see things like that, I always point out, like, you'll never see a man like that. You know what I mean? You would never see. And I
Yes.
mean, I just kind of put a bug in their ear to show them that. I mean, I just by nature of who I am, I'm giving them an example of a woman that they probably might not see otherwise. Do you know what I mean? Like, so they see me go to the gym every day. I talk about how strong I'm getting and lifting, and they come to the gym with me. And to them, it'll just be default. Like, you know, women are just strong and they do these things. Yeah, but it's. I never thought. I sometimes forget the daughter aspect because I don't have
I
daughters.
know, it's the first
But
thing
it
I
is a good
thought.
point. Yeah. Well, because you have one, so it makes
I was
sense.
like, oh, bad
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Um, yes. Okay. Speaking of timely things, I love
Oh,
that that was on your blog today. And I'm actually excited to get our podcast going so that we can look and search the hashtag and maybe try out the wycwyc tips that people have shared. But since we
yeah.
don't have any of those for this
We're just figuring
episode,
things out.
I know.
If people could have seen us for the 20 minutes this podcast just
I
started,
can't find Chrome.
I'm like, what did I become out of touch with technology? Why can't I figure this out? Why aren't my headphones working? I can't, you know, it's so funny to me. But
I've got
yes,
the glare behind me. But we
I'm in my
cannot
bedroom.
end. We have to talk about, even however so briefly, because this is kind of the premise for me and people that I'm trying to inspire, blog, offline, online, that it's officially the week. It's the third week of January, and this is when all of us seem to quit our New Year's resolutions, which actually is longer than I would have thought. Because when I
Yeah.
made them, I seriously was the person who made the resolution the 31st. I swear half the time it was broken by the second. So
Yeah.
this almost seems
Can I
longer.
can I confess something? So I've been trying to figure out how I was going to bridge this on my blog. So in the beginning of the year, I don't really make resolution anymore, and we're going to talk about that, of course. Like it's not, I don't, make these big things at the beginning of the year, going, this year I'm going to lose 5 pounds and this and that. I just don't do that. But I generally do use the new year as a means to like, get rid of some old stuff, clean out some old drawers and closets, and like just kind of feel more organized. Just because of the nature, you're cleaning up after. For me, I celebrate Christmas, so we're cleaning up after Christmas, and we're kind of getting rid of old and the new, and And I made a commitment. We could call it a resolution that I was going to clean out my drawers in my bedroom and my closet and my kitchen drawers, one drawer at a time, very quick. I have 5 minutes a day. I'm going to clean out one drawer, and I did. They did for the first, I don't know, 6 days or so. I went, I was doing really, really good, and I would share on Facebook and Twitter. I'm like, I did my one drawer. It's done. And then something happened. I went to my mom's. I had to help because she was in the hospital for surgery, and I was there for quite a few days, and I came home, and I have not yet picked back up the habit. And I thought, I am one of those people. My resolution has failed in its third week.
But
Um,
the same article that I saw in the New York Times that said, or was the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, that said this is when we break our resolutions, said the most important thing is to set up the situations that spark the habit we want. Like
yeah,
for me, it's movement. I could sit on my booty all day long after I do some sort of maybe 20, 25-minute cardio because I'm writing. And so
right.
for me,
Me
it's
too.
always I'm up early, and I have my coffee, and when the coffee's gone, I know that means it's time to get moving. It could be walking the dog. It could be returning emails with voice dictation, then editing after. But for me, it's a situation of the coffee being gone
I have to find my
that
situation.
sparks. And now I'm super excited. This is how we are so different, yet we both use the wycwyc. For you, you were like, okay, I'll do one drawer a day because I have 5 minutes. We just moved and everything was in
That's right.
boxes.
Hmm.
And I unpacked my daughter's room and I unpacked the kitchen. And I am so proud of myself for not unpacking myself. Like I announced, I'm leaving everything in trunks. And every time friends come over or my daughter makes a comment, are you going to unpack that? I'm like, nah, wycwyc, I got everything else going. I'll hang some pictures. So it's like I've given myself permission not to do it because
Right.
I'm doing what I can when I can, and that's involving her stuff, hanging pictures, and the kitchen.
That's funny.
So
Well,
it's,
that's your
yeah,
priority. I think it
right.
comes down to priority.
Yes.
And well, for me, I got really distracted. But I really like what you said. I really need to find, like, I was doing it right before I went to bed, which seems like an odd
Yes.
time, but that's where my
But that'd
drawers
be
are.
so
So,
cleansing. It'd be so cleansing for
yeah.
me
So
because that's the situation that sparks the habit.
yeah, and then I would just go upstairs, and because you know what, to be honest, that's when I would go, oh crap, I didn't do my one drawer today, and I'm like, I better do it before I go to bed. Wick wick. That's what I used to say. So then I would do it, and then I would feel all like righteous, like I did my drawer, yay.
Well, and it
Um,
really does add up. I think that's the thing that I can forget is if I could probably unpack half a trunk a day, whether it takes 20 days, 40 days, or 10, it's those small steps adding up to my room being done.
yes. You know what? I caught myself yesterday doing this. So I go to the gym really super early in the morning. It's the only time that definitely always works, and I don't have to worry about it. So I wake up at 5:15 basically, and I've gotten to this habit years ago. I have to have my workout clothes right by the bed. So I wake up, I grab them, I go to the bathroom, I put them on, and I'm ready. Um, and if I don't do that, it's a problem because then I don't want to get out of bed because I don't want to find my clothes, and I can't turn the light on because my husband's still sleeping. So I've been catching myself, and this is really really wick. Like so for example, like let's say it's after dinner and I'm putting the kids' clothes away from laundry or something. I'll go, oh, I should go get my clothes now. There's something that's just kind of reminds me. So instead of waiting until
Yes.
right before I go to bed, like sometimes I'll have those clothes out, like I'll pull them out when I'm showering for today, and then I'll go, oh, I'll grab my clothes for tomorrow and put them on the little dresser over here, and then they're rarely there. And I find myself, in the weird way, I'm doing it earlier and earlier through the day. Um,
Interesting. And
yeah,
I
which
need
is
that. I
kind
have to
of,
set myself up for success because if I don't,
yes.
it's happening.
I used to sleep in my running clothes. That
I
was
still
what,
sleep in my workout clothes. No bra,
yeah,
but
no, I used to sleep in my
I
running
gotta get
clothes
in
all
that
the time.
mindset.
Yeah, people
And
used
it's
to say I'm crazy, and I was like, well, it's really important to me to get this run in, and I really want to do, and this is the only way I could train because I wasn't a natural early morning workout person. I had to become one through my actions, and over the course of these last few years, I really have become one. But yeah, it was I used to sleep in my running clothes, and my sneakers would vibrate at the foot of the bed, and I would hop up, tie my shoes, brush my teeth, and out the door. And if I didn't
yes.
give myself any time to think about it, because if I did, I
And
would.
for me, it's like it sets up my entire day. I saw this quote the other day, the words you use create the house you live in. And I thought, oh, that is me, not just my words. But if I'm sleeping in my t-shirt and running shorts, I'm not even running, but I get up with the backdrop of movement. I've got to
Right.
fit this in because I feel so much better.
Yeah, no,
And
I
my,
don't.
yeah,
I don't. You know what? It's so ingrained now in my daily routine that I feel off if I don't get at least a little 15-minute, 20-minute jog in the morning first thing. I think my body's just really used to that like movement in the morning. But it took a really long time to get there. Like I used to be an afternoon. I wasn't a morning person, so I would do everything in the afternoon. And I remember thinking, oh, why would I ever not do it in the
yes.
afternoon? Like you always think if you morph and change with everything and truly do things when you can, with what you have, and it kind of you evolve and you don't even realize you're evolving slowly.
And I think, I would think for me, the food is super intuitive and something that I really don't think about all that much anymore. But the movement still for me, I love weights, but anything else, I have to wake up and recommit every morning. I still think about it. It's like marriage for me. Got to wake up and think, am
Funny.
I sticking around? But I still do. I remember when I was interviewing personal trainers for my training studio, and I didn't hire a woman because she kept saying, well, working out for me is like brushing your teeth. I mean, you know what I mean, Carla. It's just like we don't even think about it anymore. And I was like, what do you mean me or we? I recommit every day. It's a choice for me every day.
I don't know. I think it used to be like that for me, but I kind of agree with her for the working out
Yeah,
part. For the food
yeah,
part, I need a little bit more help. But the working out thing, it has become. I think it's because I really found my match. You know what I mean?
yes.
So, and I think before I was still discovering things, so I would force myself to try a new class or try a new running route. But now it's like 10 years, I figured it out. I got it. This is me, and it's kind of now part of my identity. The food thing for me, wycwyc, really helps me with the food aspects of stuff because that's kind of where I don't know, where my core started. So when I originally lost the weight, again 10 years ago, which is weird. I don't even feel like someone who lost a large amount of weight anymore. But when I first started, it was all about diet. I kind of used food as my way to cope. I just had really bad habits with food overall. And when I originally started losing weight in 2005, 2006, I was not an exerciser. I didn't exercise at all. I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to lift a weight. I didn't want to run. It all seemed very foreign to me. And so I changed everything with my diet. And I didn't have this concept of wycwyc back then. But I was doing it. I was a big Weight Watchers girl. I did the whole, and I mean, really, if you think about Weight Watchers, it's very wycwyc. It's like, hey, you really want that piece of cake? You can have that piece of cake, but it's going to use up all your points. So you
Yes. Or I
can't eat
remember
as
the old
much for
Richard
dinner.
Simmons meal a meal. It's like you can pick.
Yeah, you
That's what
gotta
life
it's like a
is.
checkbook, it's like a
Yeah.
checkbook, which is very wycwyc because it gives you I think for me, as someone who struggled with food, I had a very unhealthy relationship with this guilt aspect of, like where I would, if I really wanted something, and I would deny myself it forever and then just hoard it and then feel guilty about it, and this horrible cycle. And so wycwyc kind of went, no, 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 you really want a cheeseburger, have the cheeseburger, but you know what, maybe peel off half the bun, skip the fries, don't, and it's just made me it's do what you can when you can. You can have what you want, but you can't, you can't. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
It is, and that's why I'm so
I don't know if I'm
excited that
making any sense.
well, no, and it's good that I'm the time clock lady this week, so in wrapping
Oh,
up,
I have no
it's
idea what time it
exactly
is.
why we started the podcast, because I feel like the book is fantastic and stands alone, but this is all our experiences, the tips, and I'm really excited to watch the wycwyc homepage, to watch it auto-populate so maybe we can try other people's
Yeah,
suggestions.
we definitely need to include people like the wycwyc of the week or something, or something that's really inspiring. We should figure out a way to show it on the video. I know we're doing video and only audio, but that could be really, really fun. Um,
So we're going
I
to do this
guess,
weekly.
yeah, totally
We'll
weekly.
be
I
back
think
next
I
week.
just want to talk to you 30 minutes definitely every week.
I know, I'm really excited. So we're done. We did
Yeah.
it. First podcast. We did it, wycwyc, the way we could, what we could, when we could.
Yeah. Normally I will not be in my bedroom. I will be at
I
my
may
desk.
still be in my kitchen.
Yeah, there's some unforeseen circumstances. We're definitely doing wycwyc on this one.
But we'll be back in a week, and until then, wycwyc.
Wycwyc.